Hey guys, this is Gideon and welcome to Let's Talk Relationships. So today we want to talk about something that we all know very well, and that is how to deal with difficult situations, difficult people, difficult challenges in our lives. Now, I am no stranger to difficult challenges and people and situations. Just in this past week, I've been dealing with all sorts of things coming my way. But the reality is, these things happen. It's part of life. And so the question I want to talk about is how do we deal with it? Maybe your situation, right now is not as you want it. Maybe there are some challenges that you're facing. Maybe it's in your relationship, your marriage. Maybe it's in your business. Maybe you're dealing with some issues with your investments, whatever the case is. But I want to give you some tips today that you can use in, irrespective of your situation. So the way that I always think about dealing with difficult situations, people, and circumstances is really this idea of controlling yourself in the present. Now, whenever I say to people that you've got to control yourself in the present, meaning you've got to let go of the past, you can't live in the past, and you've got to let go of trying to control the future, I typically get this response that it is easier said than done, or it is too hard to do that. Now, look, I'm not saying that it isn't hard, and I'm not saying that it isn't easier said than done. The reality is most things are easier said than done, isn't it? But if you want to deal with difficult situations, difficult circumstances, and people in your life the best way, you have to learn how to remain in the present and how to control yourself within the present. At the end of the day, there are only so many things that you and I can control. There are, of course, things that are outside of our control. The problem is, and I find this with myself, but also, with my coaching clients, is that whenever we struggle to deal with a difficult situation or a person, it's typically because we're trying to control the uncontrollable things. We're either trying to control that person, we're either trying to manage that person or situation by focusing on the things that really we don't really have a say over or we can't control. And because we're struggling to do that and we then don't create a result that we want, we get typically frustrated, we get upset, angry, pissed off, all these things, and it just makes the situation far worse. So if you really want to deal with a difficult situation, in order to start creating the result that you want, you have to learn to control yourself and yourself within this present moment, so to speak. If you've said stuff in the past, things that could have been left unsaid, it's in the past. It's water under the bridge. If there are certain things that you would hope and would like to happen in the future, well, those things are in the future. They might be expectations, they might be things that you just hope would happen, but you don't control that. What you do control is yourself right here, right now. Now, what can you do to control yourself best in the current situation? I want to give you 6 things that I wrote down for you to think about, and I typically call these the controllables that you can do something about. Now, again, some of you will watch this, listen to this, and say, but that's easier said than done. That is too hard also. Well, the unfortunate thing is that sometimes if you want to create a result that you want in life, you have to sometimes just do the things that are hard. So here's the first thing that I know, and I believe that you and I absolutely need to control in the present in order to create a better result or deal with a difficult situation or difficult people in our life. The first thing is you have to control your thoughts. And the most important part of your thoughts that you have to control is what you focus on. Look, if you're going to go through this day focusing on everything that's bad, everything that's negative, guess what? You're just going to end up seeing more stuff that's negative and bad in the world around you. And you're probably going to feel shit because of it. So you have to control what you focus on, and that is a decision that you can make. You can choose whether you want to focus on what's positive, what's good, what is great around you, and what you can be grateful for. And by doing that, you will actually alter your thoughts. You will alter what you're thinking about. So you have to control what you focus on. The second thing that you have to control in terms of yourself in the present is your mindset or your attitude. Now, some people say, well, no, my attitude is something that I can't control, but I would beg to differ. Yes, you can control your attitude. You can literally choose what type of attitude you want to leave your home with today. You can choose how you want to show up in this world. You can choose to have a stink attitude, or you can choose to have a good attitude. And sometimes all it takes is to, again, shift your focus to the things that are good in your life. And look, sometimes it can only be one thing. Maybe you're watching this and you're hearing me speak. Maybe that's the only thing you can be grateful for, the fact that you can see and the fact that you can hear. Now, if that's the only thing, I believe there are more things, but if that's the only thing you can come up with, focus on that. Start with that. Let that determine your attitude. Just go about your day with an attitude of complete gratefulness and gratitude for the fact that you can see and you can hear. Now, again, I know there are more things that you can focus on, but if you don't have anything else, start with that at least. And so change your attitude. If you change your attitude, you are controlling yourself in a much better way than just allowing your attitude to control you in a certain sense and the situation that you're in, and making it far worse. Look, if you're in a relationship or in a marriage right now where both of your attitudes stink, I can almost bet you my last dollar that your relationship and the quality of it will also stink. And so therefore, sometimes you just have to be the one that changes your attitude long before your partner does anything, because sometimes they're just waiting for you to change your attitude, which kind of gives them permission to do that also. So control your mindset, control your attitude. The third thing you absolutely need to control in the present, I would say, is your emotions. Now, again, some people say, well, I don't control my emotions. Everything else around me control my emotions, or they influence my emotions. Now, yes, of course, things in the environment, difficult people, difficult challenges, have a say, have a in a sense, an influence on our emotions, but they don't determine our emotions and how we feel. So there are three things typically that determine how we feel. Again, what we choose to focus on. The second thing is what we say to ourselves, our self-talk, or some people call it our mind chatter, about what the thing that we're focusing on. And the third thing is our physiology, meaning our body, what we do with it, whether we have had enough rest, whether we are hydrated, we've had enough water, whether we are eating healthily, whether we're getting enough exercise and movement. All those things work together to, in a sense, create a certain emotion within us. So if you're a person going through your day and you're focusing on everything that's bad, you're telling yourself that, see, things are bad, nothing's good, and you have a poor diet, you don't drink enough water, and you don't get sleep, chances are you'll be a very miserable person walking around, and you will most likely bring that negative energy into your relationship. So you've got to control those things in order to control your emotions and create the empowering emotions that you want in order to function better, in order to deal with difficult people, difficult situations in a much better way. The fourth thing that you've got to control is, of course, your actions, what you do. Now, again, most of us in the world today seems to be fairly selfish. We kind of focus on, what's the world doing for me? What are people doing for me? What's my partner doing for me? How's my marriage serving me? The problem with that very selfish, self-centered type of approach is it typically creates a lot of bad energy in us, especially when our expectations and hopes are not being met. So my challenge to you is, if you want to control yourself, the best way in this present situation is you have to start looking at what it is that you actually do to make your situation better. Or if you're in a situation where you're dealing with this difficult person, again, you don't control what that person does, what that person says, and how they make you feel, but you can control how you treat that person. You can control how you manage that person. You can control how you respond to that person, or whether you respond at all. So you control your actions, but what you choose to do will then create further consequences and a further ripple effect in terms of what happens in your life. So you control what you do and what you don't do. If you're a person that goes about honestly just using all your energy and all your time to get back at someone, chances are that will create more issues or intensify an already difficult situation or relationship with a person. So you have to control your actions. The fifth thing that you have to control are, of course, the people you spend most of your time with. Now, again, I understand that many of us are in situations where there are people in our life because of our type of life. You're either working with some people that are difficult, you're working with some people that make, they're very, very negative, you're working for a boss that's a dick, whatever the case is. No, I understand that we don't control those things, but what I'm asking you to do in terms of controlling yourself in the present moment is to control who you spend most of your time with. Now, there's this idea in the self-help world that they call emotional contagion, meaning that we literally, transfer and catch the emotions of the people that are around us. And we also transfer our emotional state onto other people. So if you're around people that are typically happy, positive, chances are, even when you're feeling bad, even when you're going through difficult things, that emotional energy from people that you're spending time with will transfer. You will catch it like you catch a bug, so to speak. But if you're around people that are negative, people that are destructive in their thinking, people that are just, down, people that just make, everything is a problem, chances are that if you're a person trying to be upbeat, trying to be positive, trying to, look forward and improve a situation in your life, if you're surrounded by people like that, it'll just make it so difficult to deal with this thing. So if you quickly and rapidly want to change a very difficult situation or deal with very difficult people, start spending time with people that actually lift you up, people that inspire you, people that motivate you, people that can listen and can tell you, well, do this, do that, people that can say, well, don't worry about that, people that can just give you some better perspective in terms of this difficult thing that you're dealing with. And ultimately, even though you have to spend some of your time with certain people that you don't control, you do control how you spend most of your time with them. And you also control whether you, in a sense, entertain those negative people you have to spend your time with. So what I mean by controlling yourself in this present moment is control whether how much time you spend with who in your life. That makes a huge difference. And the sixth and the last one that I would, tip I would give you in terms of controlling yourself in this present situation is time. I like what Gary Vaynerchuk says, that time is your biggest asset. How you choose to spend your time makes all the difference in the world. Now, again, some of us are situations where we have to, we've got to have a job, where, we have responsibilities, all these things. But the reality is you do choose or have a choice of how you choose to spend your time. You can choose to spend all your time focusing on what's negative, around people that are negative, about, dealing with things that are negative, acting in a way that just makes bad situations even worse, and so on and so on and so on. You choose how you spend your time. You choose who you spend your time with. You choose, how much time you spend feeling sorry for yourself or feeling bad, or you choose whether you do certain things and not other things. You control your time. So if you're dealing with difficult people, a difficult situation, difficult circumstances right now, I would challenge you to go spend some time thinking and looking at how you're spending your time right now, and asking yourself, is that the best way that I can spend my time right now to actually improve my situation or the relationship I have with this difficult person or people at this very time? Guys, I hope you found this helpful. If you have any suggestions of your own, just please leave them below in the comment section or wherever I'm posting this. I would love to read them and share them with other people. And just be on the lookout for anything else coming your way very soon. Otherwise, head over to my site at gideonhanekom.com for more tips and strategies for improving your life and your relationships. And we will talk soon. See you soon, guys.